The take-up rate of the PIC is not bad. It's like 70%, which is it's really improved from last year. But yet productivity hasn't come anywhere near the government's target of 2% plus. What is going on here?
I think, there are a few things here, and there are a few ways to skin the cat to begin with. Defining productivity, we have all assumed it's going to be easy, and it's a very hard and fast measure, but it's not. It's a very slippery measure. How do you define productivity? Measuring productivity is difficult. How do you go about it? Is it unit labor cost? Is it from the output per input? And these measures are far from refined or defined, for that matter. So it's flawed to begin with. And I think Siew Yong brought up, there will be other companies just looking to get those gains, and then productivity becomes a pursuit, a hollow pursuit, rather than something that's very targeted at the business and saying, this is exactly what I want to improve in terms of processes, longer term outputs. The way to go about it is perhaps not get hung up on the year-to-year measures, slippages, or spurts in productivity. We are in it for the long haul, and I think we ought to treat it as such.
My concern is that I'm not too sure whether we are overemphasizing on productivity. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that productivity is not important. Okay, but the things that we're talking about, productivity, in my simple mind, is output over input altogether. So if you want to improve on the utilization of input, yes, talking about productivity. But what can we do anything about the output altogether? Can we expand the output rather than just looking at narrowing the input? So that's the part where I find that yes, if you're looking at from that perspective, then maybe the government could possibly look into how we can help businesses in Singapore to build their brands. And that is where we talk about whether could we possibly introduce certain tax incentive, right, to incentivize self-generated brands rather than encouraging, right, businesses just to buy from someone the brand and I get a tax deduction. Because at the moment, right, if you develop your own brand, you build your own brand, right,
you don't get any deduction.
You can't get anything. Okay, except for the input that you have incurred, getting your labor costs and all that. Right. But if you have built the brand to a certain extent and it has certain market value, you can't really monetize that because that stick with you. And the only way that you can monetize that is when you sell the brand away.
Okay.
And the next person who buy from you, right, get the tax benefit because they can get tax deduction of the consideration that they pay for the brand. So that is a disconnect. So that's a part whereby I think it is really a good time for us to look at how we can bridge that disparity between brand creation and acquisition of brand.
Okay.